I've had moments when I was disloyal. I mean, played professional basketball, so I was kind of
Okay.
all over the world. I lived that life.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I don't.
You don't?
I let God kind of work that out for me.
I'm sorry, but am I the only one who thinks Justice was on Ready to Love just so he could appear on TV and he could use that as credentials to sort of pivot himself into something else? Because I don't get why he comes across the way he does. And even when he was told you're not ready to love, the way he behaved, I didn't like that. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. I'm so sorry I completely forgot that I hadn't reviewed Ready to Love. Anyway, in this episode, I'll be reviewing Ready to Love Season 7, Episode 7. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment and subscribe. So Tommy meets up with the girls in his lounge to sort of let them know that they are responsible for deciding this week which of the guys is not ready to love. He informs them that the guys will be meeting the ladies' friends, and it's important that the ladies listen to their friends, and obviously their friends are going to ask the necessary questions that they might not have asked. So it's important that after these meetings, the girls have conversations with their friends and take their friends' advice. Anyway, so the first person is Randall. He meets up with Jamala's friends. It was nice. I think it was very comfortable and very easygoing because Randall is a very easygoing guy. He says that he sees Jamala as his friend, as someone he can talk to at any time. The girls were sort of questioning him that how many other connections do you have? And we all know that Randall has three connections. He's got Jamala, Tronika, and Kayla, if I'm not mistaken. So they were asking him, you have moved to Miami. Is there anything you left behind? And sort of, what are you looking for in a relationship? For me, I don't know. Randall too easygoing. I don't know whether Jamala is the right girl for him. Neither do I think Kayla is the right girl for him. I think Tronika would be better because she comes across as more peaceful and more easygoing. But I also like Tronika for LJ, so I don't know how that's going to play out. When Jamala has a conversation with her friends, they confirm that they liked Randall. They think he's a great guy. They like that he was open when they asked him questions. And so I do like him. He seems to have a connection with Jamala, but the problem is Randall appears to have a connection with every lady that he's with. When you see him with Kayla, you think, oh my God, he's hopelessly in love with Kayla. You see him with Jamala, you think the same thing. So I don't know who he's going to pick if he has to pick one of the girls. It's a bit confusing for me who he's likely to pick. Um, Caden then invites Swayze to meet her friend. And I already knew this was going to be some type of way as soon as her friend said she's going to gut him like a fish. I think Kaden is too much on her own, and with her friend, it just made things worse. And Swayze is not the guy for this type of meetup that they had with him, because they asked him about his how long he's been single, the type of woman he's dated, and he said, any woman is his type. And then they asked him, are you on apps? He said yes. And on those apps, how many black women have you dated in the past 3 years and stuff? And it's like, why? And then they accused him of not dating black women because he said he mainly dates Latin women, and it's like, that's not right. That's not right. And I think this is something that a lot of people tend to have issue with. You cannot judge someone by who he dates. Do you understand what I mean? If someone says he only dates white women, good for him. If he only dates Latin women, good for him. You will find your man that will date your type. There's no point in arguing with someone just because he doesn't date your type. And the fact that he said he liked Caden and he was interested in her, they didn't need to go that way, because he then got upset because he said, I'm a black man, my daughter's a black girl, my ex-wife is a black woman, my mom is a black woman. So for them to say that, I didn't like that. And for instead of asking him, is there a specific reason why you're more attracted to this type of women, they were sort of on the attack mode, and I didn't like it. I felt uncomfortable for him. So I understand him walking out, and the fact that when he refused to eat and he said he was leaving, they started laughing, and it's like, no, Kaden already has issues. The guys have pulled her up several times for the fact that she's always appears to be interviewing the guys when she's talking to them. So for them to treat Swayze like this, I'm happy he walked out. I would have walked out. I'm happy he walked out. That wasn't necessary. He's dating her. He's never once made her feel less than. So there was no need for them to call him out like that and call out his preference. Everyone has their preference for everything. You can't hate someone because they don't like the same thing you like. I like the fact that Tranika invited three guys, which was great. So she invited LJ first. And this was day and night as compared to Kadine's date, because although her friends were asking thought provoking questions, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you see yourself getting married again? They presented it in such a way that didn't come across as offensive towards LJ. And it actually brought it was funny because they were joking and laughing and smiling, and so it made it more comfortable. It was totally different to how Kadeen and her friend treated Swayze. And I think LJ is reflective and very mature for his age, because he said he's happy that she has people like that, people who are after her best interest. He didn't see it as a negative. Whereas I think if you ask Swayze about Kadeen's friend, all he'll say are negative things. Justice came in and sat down with her friends. Justice just cracks me up. He's so full of himself. They asked him, where do you see yourself in 5 years? He went, I don't. I just let life be. He's just pompous, because he was saying, if they come to me with love, I'm going to treat them with love. If they come to me with craziness, I'm going to treat them with craziness. And I think he would have been the best guy to meet Kadeen's friend, because he would have put Kadeen and her friend back in their place. I don't know really whether Justice is taking this process seriously, or whether it's just in it to be in it. And so Tronika also invited Randall, which was great. But then Justice left, because I think Justice realized that he had played himself, in the sense that he had been standoffish, whereas Randall was actually being respectful in how he presented himself and the questions that he answered. And so Justice decided to leave, and it was just like, okay, it is what it is. And I think it was a good idea. I wasn't sure how I felt about her inviting three guys at the same time, but it was good because these are the three guys she has a connection with, and it it made sense for her friends to meet them all at the same time and sort of compare and see who is serious and who's not. I always thought LJ was a great connection. LJ, I think, is a great guy. I initially, in first episode, I thought he'd have a connection with Shakira and they could end up having something, but it didn't work out. And I think Tronika is a great girl. So it's nice to see that her friends were able to see that LJ is actually more serious than the other two guys. They felt that Justice was just full of himself. And the fact that Randall, they felt, because he's a great guy, he gets away with playing a lot of girls, because he's easy to talk to, he's good looking, and so this is why they were cautious about that. So it did make sense. Cherise invites Samson to meet her friend. I like Samson. I don't know whether I like him for Cherise. I think I would have liked him for someone like Tronika. I think if you look at the girls, the ones that I think are the best girls are Brandy, Tronika, and Looney. I think those are the three best left in the sort of in this thing. And Kayla, I don't want to leave Kayla out. So Samson, I was surprised that Sharice invited Samson, actually, because I know I've seen them on a couple of dates and they've seemed to got along very well, but I don't know whether that could lead to a stronger connection. I haven't seen the physical chemistry between them, so I don't know how that will play out. But hey, if she likes him, hey, good for her. And then Kayla invites Mike and Randall. This is Randall's third time meeting a friend. And I felt that wasn't necessary. I think she should have done a speed dating, in the sense that she knows that Mike feels some type of way about the fact that she kissed Randall and Zoe. So I think she should have brought Mike first for the date, finished with Mike, and then moved on to Randall, because otherwise it's very uncomfortable. Because Mike brought it up that this is one of the guys, because he did tell Kayla's friends that she kissed one of the guys in this process, two guys in this process. So every time I see her, that's all I think about. And so when he brought it up that this is the guy that she kissed, you could tell Randall wasn't happy. Randall wasn't happy with that. He wasn't happy with that. So I don't know how that's going to play out. I know Randall was asked, is Kayla your strongest connection? Because he agreed that he does have other connections, and he said she's one of them. The problem is we haven't spent enough one-on-one time, and it's like, whose fault is that? If you really were that interested in her, would you not have made time for her? I think the biggest mistake for Kayla, apart from inviting Randall and Mike, is the fact that Kayla has this physical, it's actually palpable chemistry with Mike. And as much as she likes Randall, I don't think it's as strong a connection as she has with Mike. And the problem as well is the fact that Mike is got a very strong connection with Brandy. So I don't know how that's going to play out. I really feel sorry for Kayla. Maybe she should have connected with someone like Samson or even LJ, but then maybe LJ is too sweet for her, so she likes someone like Mike. But I think Samson would have been a better connection for her than the two, because the problem is Randall likes Jamala a lot and Mike likes Brandy, which leaves sort of Kayla in the middle with no sort of being a second option to both guys. And there is a strong possibility that they could both choose their first options and she would be left with no one. So Brandy has her date. She invites Samson and she invites Big Mike. It's obvious she's going to invite Big Mike because she's got a strong connection with Big Mike. And Samson brought her flowers, which is, something that he does. Even when he went to Sharice's house, he brought her a present. But for the first time, Big Mike wanted to put the stamp on it. He brought a present for the friend, and then he bought a present for Brandy. And you could tell Samson was taken aback. He didn't expect it, and so he was going to put his best foot forward and show Samson that this seat is taken. Looney invited Justice and LJ, and for me, Justice was a bit more well behaved in this meeting. I don't know. He's being asked, how do you consider someone to be sexy and stuff, and he's like, "Well, I don't have to touch you to have sex. I can have sex with you just in my mind." It's like, okay, all right, it is what it is. Whereas Samson was told Brandy likes reassurance, and Brandy was saying she didn't know that he was physically attracted to her because they kissed by mistake. So when they greeted, so he was able to reassure her and tell her exactly. I think as much as Brandy has a connection with Samson, as much as Brandy has a connection with Big Mike, I think the best option for her would be Samson, because Samson is ready to get married. Samson wants a family. He doesn't have that. Whereas Big Mike already has 3 children, so I'm not sure how he hasn't made it clear as to whether or not he wants any more children as yet. So the ladies then meet up with Tommy to choose who they feel is not ready to love. And I didn't get them saying LJ is giving us friendship vibes. I thought he came across as very loving and very caring, especially when he was the only one who was checking up on Looney right at the start of the show when she tested positive for COVID. So I'm surprised that they all felt she wasn't ready to love. I think he would make a great partner for Tronika or even Looney herself. I know her friend said, oh, he'll eat you alive and stuff. And you could see some of the girls were in their feelings because, for example, when Brandy spoke about meeting with Mike and her friends, you could tell that Kayla wasn't happy. And also when Brandy spoke about Samson coming to the event and meeting her friend, you could see that Sharice wasn't happy. And it's like, this is the process you signed up for. You signed up to date multiple people. You can't get in your feelings when you realize that the person that you have feelings for has also got someone else has got feelings for them. You just have to leave it as it is and hope for the best. And then Swayze did complain, obviously, to Sharice. I think he's very close. I think he's now become friends with Sharice. So he complained to Sharice that he didn't like the way Kaden spoke to his friend about him and how they cornered him and stuff. And I personally, I can't judge for anybody else. I hate how we stereotype people to say, oh, you only date this race, so you're not good people, or you only date that race, you're not. Nobody takes time to find out why is it you prefer this race in particular. Nobody cares for that. People they just judge you by, oh, you date only black women, so this is who you are, or you date white women, you date Latino women, you date Asian women. No, ask the person why. What is it about the people that they like? Because as soon as it was said that this is what Swayze went for, Looney said, well, I'm not interested at all. The door's shut. I would never open the door. And it's like, has he said it's set in stone that he would never date anyone else? Or are people making assumptions and running with those assumptions? I didn't like that. Anyway, so the ladies decide who they feel is not ready to love and who still needs to do a bit of work. So Looney meets up with LJ and Kayla meets with Justice. And apparently this is their first time in a meetup. I was surprised that, Kayla's the one that they sent. but I think they decided to send someone who they felt wouldn't be intimidated by him. Great offense to him saying whatever he wanted to say. And LJ was very anxious. He just wanted to know. He just asked, just tell me what is going on, and so that I know. And Justice was very laid back and standoffish, because Kayla said, yeah, this is our first time meeting, or you haven't made an effort to get to know me. And it's like, well, you should make an effort because you know what you want, so you should be the one chasing it. It's like, well, okay, it is what it is. I guess that's the end of us. So the ladies felt Justice wasn't ready to love, which isn't surprising. I'm surprised this lasted this long. And LJ was given another chance, and he says he's still going to work at it. I wish these ladies would actually look for the qualities that LJ has instead of just putting him in friendship box and just leaving him there. But we'll see what happens, because obviously things are going to fall apart for him when he meets up with his friend and Trinica next week. But it is what it is. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Bye everyone.